beautiful, beautiful, beautiful morning to each and every one of you, most especially to our Muslim brothers and sisters. I must say that happy Eid to all of us. Yes, we are celebrating together. Almost every time that, they are celebrating both Eids, we celebrate with them, don't we? As Christians, we really do. So today is another opportunity to celebrate with our Muslim brothers and sisters. And that's the reason that you've realized that KMJ, myself, and Sheila are looking the way we are looking this morning. And so, Baraka de Salah. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Asiadua Akomia, and it's time for news in the Newsflash segment. I'm sorry, what am I saying? It's time for Newsflash right here on Prime Morning. But then before that, this Easter, the celebration moves to Gomwa. So from 2nd April to April 5th, 2026, the Gomwa Easter Carnival takes over the Gomwa Central constituency with 4 unforgettable days of color, culture, music, and pure excitement. So experience vibrant street parades, electrifying live performances, rich cultural displays, visual arts, food, fashion, and exciting brand activations. A beautiful blend of heritage, royalty, and modern street culture, all in one destination. Now, this bold initiative is championed by the Member of Parliament for Gomwa Central, Kwame Asare-Oping, who is popularly known as A+. Now, the Gomwa Easter Carnival is powered by the Joy brands and proudly sponsored by Hot Wave. The dates again between April 2nd to April 5th at Gomwa Central constituency. Come with your energy, come ready to celebrate. It's all about the Gomwa Easter Carnival 2026. Let's meet at the center. Now, in case you want to be a vendor, you have to call the number 020-2158-734. Or you would love to book a hotel for hotel reservations, it is 053-4049-996. It's all about the Gomwa Easter Carnival. And ladies and gentlemen, the D-Day has come. Today, we right here at Joy are super ecstatic because we are about to have so much fun at the Achimota Retail Center. It's all about Ghana Fest 2026. So starting today through to Sunday, every single day we are going to be present at the Achimota Retail Center, all popularly known as the Achimota Mall. So if you are somebody looking for made in Ghana products to buy at very good rates, this is your opportunity to come on there because there are different products to look through and buy from, different vendors present there, be it food, be it fashion, accessories. What is it exactly that you're looking for? Please be part of this great opportunity by passing by at the Achimota Retail Center today, tomorrow, and on Sunday. There will be live music performances as well. There will be games. It will be fun. It will be very exciting, okay? So please make sure that you pass through. All your favorite presenters are going to be there. TV and radio, all from the Joy brands, are going to be present at the Achimota Retail Center today, tomorrow, and Sunday. So we just cannot wait to see you. All right, so let's get into our discussion for the Newsflash segment. Now, today we are discussing Parliament. Now, Parliament ratifies Ghana Barari DV Lithium deal and minority rejection. Yes, that's what happened. And minority has raised a number of concerns, one of them being environmental concerns in relation to the community, which is the Mankesim community, where exactly this is going to take place. So we are going to talk on that. We are also going to talk about the Middle East crisis and its impact on Ghana's economy. Then we'll delve into today's celebration, the Eid al-Fitr, harnessing religion for socio-economic growth. And so, ladies and gentlemen, I will be joined by, in fact, as of now, I am joined by 2 of my guests. We've got one more on the way coming. And so, seated with me this morning in studio, I've got Senyo Amekplenu, who is a member of the NPP Communications Team. Good morning, Senyo.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing very well.
Yeah, looking splendid.
Thank you.
Barika
Barika Kidi. I think I got it right?
Yes, you did.
Yeah, Barika Kidi.
Okay, all right. So, yes, Senyo Amekplenu is here. Now, seated to his right is Salam Dramani Dramado, and he's a leading member for Arise Ghana. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
Alhamdulillah. I'm
Okay.
fine.
Okay.
Yourself?
I'm doing very, very well.
Looking regal in your abaya.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Hajia
Esiedu.
That's really beautiful. Thank you. Thank you so much. So, ladies and gentlemen, coming up next is the News Flash segment.
Newsflash is brought to you by Franco Trading Enterprise. Steel, fun papa fee. Newsflash is brought to you by Franco Trading Enterprise. Steel, fun papa fee.
And this is still Prime Morning. It's currently time for News Flash. I urge you to please get highly interactive with us on our social media platforms. On Facebook, we are live. It is Joy Prime TV. You can hop onto this comment section and you just share your thoughts, your opinions in relation to all the various topics we're about talking on. You can also hit the share button so every single person knows that we are currently live on your screens. You can take our WhatsApp number also 055-157-5757. We have been joined by our third guest, who is in the person of Julius Kwame Anthony, his government's spokesperson. Good morning, Julius.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm doing good. It's a pleasure to be here, except when I entered the room, I was a bit shaken.
Is it?
My two brothers.
In the Fugu.
What a certain Sakura man was in this country. When I entered and I saw two, I was like, what's going on?
What's going on?
You want to start with this?
What's going on,
All right, so, but I hope you're well.
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay.
Like Alice here.
Oh, my goodness. I'm now realized.
We're confederates.
Yes. Oh. So how do we do this? Because I'm Ashanti.
Who adopt you?
Oh, you adopt me, huh?
I'm not an Ashanti.
Yeah, one.
We are one. That's
No, we actually take you to Keta.
Okay.
Keta and then the Central Tongue. Yes, so be prepared that after this show, we'll spend a weekend in Keta and then.
That wouldn't be bad.
Yeah. We have lovely places around the coast.
Okay.
You enjoy being with us there.
Okay.
I can't remember to talk about Mandiata. I like kind of got bland, Hajia Sidua. Hajia this morning we are selling you.
I'm so lost. I'm so lost right now. All I can say, but I think I can say one word.
Anthony. Maybe a drapa. I like your corner.
I can say just one word.
Which is?
I don't know. Maybe you were complimenting me, right?
Yeah,
we were.
Definitely.
Okay, so I will say Akpe.
Yeah.
You got it right. So Tagbe Sri is watching you this morning. Yeah, I've just gotten the hit, and then the Abu Komefia of the whole traditional area. He's also watching.
So you will not tell me this morning.
Thank you. So we'll take you to Asogli State and
beautiful.
The Anglon land. Yeah.
I extend my greetings to all of them. Beautiful. And that's how we like it from this side. Anyway, so it's time for us to delve into a conversation The very first one is Parliament approving the 15-year lithium mining agreement with Barari DV Ghana. And I did say that minority has raised some concerns, and one of the major ones is environmental concerns. Very interesting. But then I want to first of all, in case you have some message that you want to pass to our Muslim brothers and sisters, before we delve into our conversations, please, you could go ahead. Senyo, I want to start with you.
Yeah, thank you very much. Good morning to you, and good morning to your cherished viewers. Barakat Salah to your cherished viewers this morning, and special good morning to my brothers also with me. At least we've been able to, how do I even say it, to put our younger brother in the middle. The two Sakura men. By the time we finish the show, he will learn how to be doing Sakura.
He will be highly influenced.
Exactly.
Okay.
So let me use the platform to greet our party members as well. More importantly, our Muslim brothers and sisters. I want to also extend a special greetings to our Muslim brothers in the Volta region.
Okay.
I will not sit on the show without extending greetings to them.
Right.
Barakat Salah to all of them, the regional Nasara coordinator, the constituency Nasara coordinators and their deputy. I want to use the opportunity as part of the Eid Mubarak celebration to, extend a greeting of the season to them. I believe that this season has come to stay. It's been a recurrence of events that we've been seeing over the years. It's a moment where you have to take a sober reflection and also purify and ask for forgiveness. So today, I'm sure that in the Blaster Square, during the celebration this morning, we'll be having the chief imam who will be gracing the occasion, and I'm sure the president should be there as well. So as part of the season, all we can say is that Barakat Salah, but please, it's very important for you to know that this is the time to remember we the Christians. The meat, don't keep it alone.
Every day they say is the small one.
Yeah,
this
please.
one is the big one.
It's the big one, so please. We also deserve to eat the meat. So my brothers in the Volta region and across the country, especially my northern brothers who, when I'm on set, they've been sending me. Yeah.
Okay.
Jose in the Upper East, Banuba, and the rest. All my northern brothers, please. I'm told that STC has opened a special office to receive all my meat parcels. So please kindly send them there, and then it will be delivered to me in no time. Thank you very much.
Thank you too. All right, let's come to you, Julius.
Yeah, I think that Senyo has extended the greeting fully on all our behalf. All I would say is that the significance of the occasion must never be lost on us. Is demonstrable of our multiculturalism. The fact that Ghana as a secular state, having multiple religions in it, is able to coexist. And occasions like this, we express solidarity with, our brothers and sisters in the Islamic faith. And for us Catholics, the period is also solemn because most often it coincides with our Lent period. And so the fasting periods are almost the same, just that we go 40 days. Which is quite longer than the Muslim calendar. And so it's a very solemn period for all of us. And I pray for the blessings of Almighty Allah for our brothers and sisters of the Islamic faith as they mark this important occasion. So the best of the season's wishes to all of them.
All right, Salam.
Yeah, thank you very much for the opportunity to extend my greetings to the Muslim Ummah, the Muslim community, for the celebration of the Eid al-Fitr. Ramadan was a month of, or it's actually a month of 30 days of fasting. And this year, particular year, they have done the 30 days because the moon had not been sighted. So they have done the 30 days. I just pray that the blessings that flow from observing the Ramadan or the Siyam should be bestowed on them. They should, Allah should just gave it to them for those who were steadfast in prayers and in observing the Siyam.
Yeah.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alamin. Ar-Rahman Rahim Maliki Yawmiddin Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Ihdina siratal mustaqim siratal ladzina an'amta alaihim ghayril maghdubi alaihim waladdallin. Amen. Summa amen. Kul huwallahu ahad Allahu samad lam yalid walam yulad walam yakul lahu kufuwan ahad. Iza jaa nasrullahi wa rafatuhu wa ra'aita an-nas yadkhuluna fi dinillahi afwaja fasabbih bihamdi rabbika wastaghfir innahu kana tawwaba. Special prayers to all of them, especially those in the...
say Amen.
Amen, suma Amen. Amen, suma Amen. Especially those in Adidome Zongo. Special greetings to all of them in Adidome Zongo, to Master Buhari and Master Saliu.
Okay, beautiful one. Now, to our topic. Since government is highly involved in this, it's only right that Julius starts speaking on this. And that is the agreement between the government of Ghana and Barari DV Ghana. Yeah, so the 15-year agreement. Let's talk about it.
Yeah. I think that the overarching objective of our government, the government of Ghana, for years has been that as much as possible, the people of Ghana should acquire the highest benefits possible from the resources that Almighty God has endowed the people of Ghana with.
Okay.
And government in, government out, that has been our ultimate effort. And so any agreement which is entered into wants to maximize as much as possible what the benefits that Ghanaians would derive from the arrangement is. And actuated by this, the government of President John Dramani Mahama has entered into this agreement, looking at the key elements that would ensure that, we achieve this overarching objective. And so if you observe the agreement that existed before the government of the National Democratic Congress came into power, one of the key things that you note is different from the existing agreement and the agreement that we are entering into at this point is a change that we have made to the growth and sustainability levy component of it. Okay. So if you are familiar with natural resource agreements, what investors seek to do is to enter some stabilization agreements. So they put stabilization clauses to ensure that eventual change in fiscal policy of the country will not affect them.
Okay.
But what it does is that when there are certain changes in circumstances which government would want to take advantage of to ensure that we maximize our gains in those changing circumstances, then you are locked.
Okay.
And so what we sought to do is to ensure that the 1% stabilization, a growth and sustainability levy, which was part of the clauses in the agreement, was reviewed and subjected to the laws of Ghana. What that means is that if we make changes in legislation, in terms of the levies that are required to be paid by corporations or companies in the mining sector, then those changes will now reflect with this agreement. You will not be locked in as is the case of when stabilization clauses are entered. Then we also decided to introduce the sliding scale. The argument is that under the prevailing conditions that the New Patriotic Party wanted to enter into a 10% royalties agreement, Ghana would have been getting more. Of course, that agreement would be sound, if it were the case that the circumstances that existed at the time of the agreement would, persist in perpetuity. But it is not always the case. And so you look at these agreements from the perspective of ensuring that in times that there are windfalls, the government of Ghana makes the highest benefit possible, from agreements that we make when it comes to natural resources. It is with this perspective in mind that President John Dramani Mahama's government deems it fit to introduce the sliding scale. If you do not see the benefits of the sliding scale in the lithium case, because currently the price has fallen, you may want to pay attention to what is happening with gold. When you introduce a sliding scale in terms of your royalties determination, when there is an increase in the price of the commodity, you get to take advantage of that by getting a significantly higher, royalty as compared to if it was fixed. And so the argument the NPP is making is that, the prevailing price at the time, they wanted to lock in at 10%. would have been giving Ghana more at this moment compared to the price at which we are entering into the sliding scale. Whereas that argument may be valid if you were looking at things at, with the perspective of prices being fixed.
Okay. When
you look at it from the circumstances where the price may increase, where the state will not be able to take advantage of those increases, you see that there's a flaw, in that argument, and it lends credence to our perspective that it should be on the basis of, a sliding scale. When you look at the agreement also, we have made strong considerations that there should be feasibility studies, a scoping to determine whether or not it would be viable to set up a refinery here in Ghana. Okay. Now, when it comes to the issue of the refinery, it's important for us to look at the project economy of the refinery, setting it up, if it serves Ghana in the long term. If you look at, Tema Oil Refinery, for example, and you do the analysis in terms of its economic sense, whether it makes economic sense for us to have it, you would conclude that it does because there is the assurance, 100% assurance of the flow of crude, either imported or from our own offshore exploration. There's that. Now, if you come to the lithium, there must be a feasibility studies that eventually establishes that in the long term, we will make more lithium discoveries that would make the setting up of a local, processing or refinery here to have economic sense. So government has decided that as part of the agreement, we should have a clause that binds the entity to do the scoping, the feasibility studies that is necessary to come to that conclusion. When we do that, Ghana gets to benefit from the findings, the outcomes of that feasibility studies, and it would help us determine whether we're enjoying the entity to create that. The company is also expected to do feasibility studies for the construction of a jetty or a mini port of a sort in the salt pond area, or if it is not particularly in salt pond, closer areas, to enable them to be able to facilitate the import of equipments and all of that. So all those things are part of the agreement. They are the new introductions that are there. But broadly speaking, the agreement is largely a reflection of what existed. If you look at the 13%,
it's 12% too.
Pardon?
It's 12%. Is it 13 or 12?
It's 13.
It's 13.
It's 13. Then when you look at the equity holding to that, the minerals incomes investment fund is also supposed to have, the 6% agreement. All of those things are still part of the company. So the differences so far is for us to ensure that when there are some changes in circumstances, especially increments in prices on the world, we are able to take advantage of, and that is important. Okay. That is very, very important.
Okay. All right. I'll come back to you on the 1% community development levy because, like I did say earlier, government has minority in parliament has raised major health and environmental concerns that they wished that the 1% be increased to 2% or even 3%. So we'll get to that. I want Salam to come in on this.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much for the opportunity. Lithium, there's a global rise or demand for lithium because the world what is happening now is that the world or the 21st century has taken a stand to do away with fossil fuel because of its ramifications for the environment. Yeah. So we are now moving to renewable energy, and that is why there's a global demand, or there's a surging demand for lithium because of what is being used for. That is being used for batteries for mobile phones, batteries for cars now. So it is important that and the agreement has actually captured that. When the government decided to enter into the agreement in the initial stage, there was some uproar. Because the government at the time appeared like it was just going to do something that they opposed while in opposition. But in keeping with the spirit of the man in the helm today, he listened to the opposing views or the suggestions by civil society groups, especially Imani. They have for the first time civil society group was given opportunity to do a presentation to members of parliament so they could see the gravamen of the arguments they were advancing, and quite elated that government has, yielded, like listened to them, and it has been captured in the agreement. For the environment is key, because over the years, mining, when you go to mining areas, the environment has been, degraded. So, and then the health impacts of the mining practices by those who have been given concessions, such that this agreement was heavy on like my brother said, visibility to actually check whether it will not impact adversely on the health of the people. Because the Constitution of Ghana enjoins us to safeguard the environment. That is Article 41K or so, and then Article 36 Clause 9 also talks about that the state should take appropriate measures to protect and safeguard the environment for posterity. Posterity, it's very important because that is what will be guiding you to be prudent in the use of our natural resources. So you see, when gold, I think, was discovered by the colonial masters here, when you look at what has happened over the years, it's just like we have not fully benefited from what we ought to get as a country.
Right.
And it's good that current government is alive to that duty, that we should benefit from our natural resources. Because if you are not going to benefit from our natural resources, then we might, it will be better off leaving it the way it is.
Okay.
You understand? Because it has built some countries considerably because they have been able to develop the know-how. The know-how is what we need to develop, you see, because it is the know-how that will bring us the significant dividend, the know-how.
Okay.
So government, as part of the agreement, trying to establish even a factory for manufacturing batteries. So by doing so, Ghanaians here will get the know-how.
Okay.
It is the know-how, because if you have an idea as to how to mine gold and then process our gold here, it will boost our economy exponentially. So the argument raised by the minority about the environment, it's key, because if you make money and it has adverse effect on the lives of the people, so what's that money for? Okay. It's just like galamsey, you understand? Because there is no justification for galamsey to continue to take place in this country. Because galamsey, those who are engaged in galamsey, they are engaged in what the Constitution of Ghana describes as unlawful business, because it doesn't have any legislative backing. So you cannot continue to degrade our environment all in the name of making money. And it's having effect on the general population. Okay. That is why galamsey must stop. And I believe that Anthony's people, I mean those who are in the helm today, should take steps to fight galamsey. Because if galamsey continues, what will happen is that, you see, it is creating what is called tragedy of the commons. So now it's individual gains over the collective. You understand? The individual interest now fighting the collective interest. The collective interest must at all time supersede individual interest. Okay. And that is what government must be aware of. That to continue to leave people to degrade our environment, all in the name of making money for the state, because the president himself some time ago said that the galamsey economy had about 4 million people operating there. So
small scale or galamsey?
It's a galamsey, small scale mining or whatever, because we tend to be using these words interchangeably. small-scale mining or galamsey, because those who are, and at the time the president was speaking, the president was clearly referring to those who were engaging in illegal mining. You understand? So the lithium agreement, yes, government has done, or the parliament has done what he ought to do to get this thing passed. So we wait to see whether we are going to get the necessary dividend, because that's what we are praying for, that our natural resources should not be a curse. It should be a blessing to us. We should,
that's all we are hoping.
Yes, because it should actually not be a bane. It should be a boon to our struggles. We need to yield significant dividend from our mineral resources.
Okay. Now, Senyo, government has projected some, expected economic benefits on this, some being substantial royalty revenues and taxes, thousands of direct and indirect jobs, infrastructure development in host communities, foreign exchange earnings, and opportunities for local contractors and suppliers. There's even more on that. Now, looking at this, why we are all at the end of the day looking for stability when it comes to the economy. What is minorities' opposition? What is the main reason for minority opposing this right from the beginning?
Well, thank you very much. Again, let me use the opportunity to inform your viewers that my party has opened registration processes in our various polling stations. So for those who, for one reason or the other, who are not comfortable with what is going on in the country, especially my very good friends in the NDC who are not happy with how things are going. You don't need to go to the police station, just be in your room so that nobody will see that it's an NDC person. And use me as a reference. I'll come and then, okay, it's that I know you. Oh. Register and we'll accept you to join the New Patriotic Party. Just log on to our portal and then we'll accept you. Okay. And then to also say a special Baraka de Salah to our incoming president, His Excellency Dr. Alhaji Mahmoud Bawumia. He is the man that you mentioned, and the roots of this nation is shaking. The roots of the Jubilee House occupied by John Dramani Mahama is shaking because they fear him so much. So I want to extend a special felicitation to him this morning, Papa. Baraka de Salah to you and to your beautiful wife, the incoming First Lady of the Republic of Ghana, Hajia Samira Bawumia. She's pretty. Very. Yeah, the most beautiful. Yeah, she's very beautiful. Yeah. So you see, when you
what's happening here?
When you talk
about your flag bearer's wife.
When you talk about it, when you talk about the fact that when you talk about the fact that in fact she's the incoming First Lady, complimenting our flag bearer who will be the next president of the Republic of Ghana, they don't understand. Now let's go into the substantive issues.
Very good.
Let's go into the substantive issues. Yeah. Julius, kindly be quiet and listen to me. Okay, thank you very much. If it is the salam meat you need, don't worry. After I'll get some from Dr. Bawumia's house for you.
No problem. No problem.
So what we need to look at is that one of the things I'm happy about is that the Barry lithium deal is going to create jobs. And I'm happy about that. Okay. I am one person beyond the politics. As a young man, I look out for the interests of the young people. So if at the end of the day, after the ratification, we are not going to hear the usual rhetoric, and it's going to be about jobs creation, I am all for it. However, I support the minority decision. I support their call. Okay. In the sense that, you see, this whole deal exposes the double face of the NDC and the likes of exposing the integrity deficit of Professor Jampo and the hunger-induced CSOs in this country. And I'm saying this because, and I'm roping in Professor Jampo because currently he's evading RTI request. He's evading accountability and transparency. And this is a man who has been very loud in this country, known to be a man who calls for accountability. So he is one of the people who has been induced with issues of, integrity deficit when it comes to this whole deal. I am worried for him. I'm worried in the sense that we all know what happened in 2023 when there was this lithium agreement started in the central region, where Professor Jampo has to mobilize chiefs to reject the deal at the time in terms of the royalty that was given to them. At the time, it was 10%. Professor Jampo and the likes, the minority at the time, as if heaven must come down. They said a lot in this country. But what did we see when they came to power? We all know what happened last year. It was 5%. That is the double-faced government that we are having in this country. That is the double-faced government that we have in this country. Now, fast forward. If we have a government that is having a double face, then we need to be very careful. The reason being that we are being led by their leader, who once told us on a campaign platform that when you are seeking a mandate to lead the people, you need to lie to them. You need to induce them with lies. So one question that will be asked is that, when we lie to, when the issue of the lithium agreement came, when they told us that they are rejecting the 10%, whereas they are in office and they are now pushing, or they push for 5%, led by Honorable Emmanuel Kofi Amabua. Minority has to hit them left, right, center, remind them of the commentaries they ran when they were on a hunger strike in opposition. Today, they are in government. A Nigerian man will tell you they don't belefu. Their stomach is full. So they have decided to reduce it from 10% to 5%. But God being so good, the CSOs who are not on hunger-induced strike, they were able to call, together with some of them who are even on hunger-induced. They made a noise together with minority.
Okay.
Lo and behold, government led by Honorable Emmanuel Kofi Amabua heeded to the call, did a U-turn, came back to tell us that they have now agreed on 7%. However, there is what we call sliding scale. Then I asked myself, that's okay. And the sliding scale is going to be on whether there is, an upward pricing at the global market. If there's reduction, they'll also look at it and be able to fix the price. But what is worrying here is that the likes of Professor Jampo in modern Ghana paper said that what? Reject the childish lithium lease. And this is by Professor Jampo. Petitions Parliament, slams Minerals Commission.
And this was in when, 2023?
This was in 2023. Then you go to City, a graphic online, you have the likes of Sami Jemfi, the communication officer of the NDC, who said what? He urges Parliament to reject the deal. Said that agreeing to that deal, he on modern Ghana again, lithium deal, your boastful claim of securing 10% royalty, a celebration of mediocrity. This is what Sami Jemfi told us. Today, your government, which a very good brother, of course, he's a very good brother of mine, is part of, hypocritically induced with hunger strike at the time, now in power, full of food. They are now reducing it. And when we hit them that no, it is not good, they have brought it to 7% and telling us grammar, sliding scale. That is what they are telling us. Agreed. But what it seems to pontificate out is that as Ghanaians, we need to be mindful of the things politicians tell us, both NPP, NDC, CPP.
Okay.
We should not allow ourselves to be cajoled by, vote-induced policies or hunger strike when we are in opposition. They said so many things. And today, their own words are hitting them. But one thing is very sacrosanct. That is, as young people, especially Mr. Sami Jemfi and Professor Jampo, who today is evading accountability and transparency, we have to be guided by the kind of things we say when we are in opposition and when we are in power. We need to be very meticulous because Obia enim dachi. You cannot tell what will happen. Does Ghana control the global price? Ghana doesn't have control over the global price. So you have no locus. You have no gas to throw your weight about, and when you come to power, you are doing a U-turn, saying all manner of things. Yes, the minority has taken its position. I support them 100%. However, my advice to the majority is that they should be guided. And when you look at from archaeology to zoology, it is very evident that every single thing they said when they were in opposition, Ejumano, so it is not going well for them.
So your problem is when they were in opposition, they were against it when it started in 2023.
Yeah.
And then now they are for it and pushing it. So that is the minority's problem. Or it's you personally?
My problem is that when they were in opposition, in terms of the royalty percentage,
yes,
they were against the 10%.
Yes.
They said it was not enough. Today, what are we being told? They are giving us 7%.
Okay.
And 7%, which is around, at the time, currently it is around $2,200 to 2,500 tons. So what are they telling us? That is 7% compared to where it was even around $900 to $1,000 at a time. We were making it at what? 10%. You see,
is that not what the sliding scale is coming into?
So we are saying that already they've been exposed. They were compelled.
Okay.
Were they not compelled? They were. They were pushed to the wall, which they even resisted. When we were saying the 5% was no good, they resisted it with all their blood in them, including the red blood, the black blood, and the green blood. They rejected it until the white blood, which is Jesus Christ, which is the new patriotic party, came in and spoke to them that no, you need to accept Jesus as your savior.
Okay.
They now said that no, NPP aye nyankopa e wose yen sumo mu enti mo ma yen jintumo.
Is it
MVP?
So they accepted
this sacrilege. We reject it totally.
They accepted that.
This is sacrilege.
Because we have the men.
Blasphemy. Blasphemy of the highest order.
Because we have the men. We have the men led by the mighty minority leader, Honorable Alexander Osani.
That's where you be stoned for saying that.
Oh, please.
That's where you be stoned for saying that.
When you were talking, you have all the time. When I'm done, you can come in, okay?
Oh, we're giving you more time than you even.
It is not by force for you to join us. So I am telling you something.
Julius, don't worry. You will get your time.
When I'm done, you can come.
Yes.
When I'm done, you can come. So the truth of the matter is that we have shown them the way.
Okay.
Just like John the Baptist. This is the way. And we have shown them that the right way is to increase it. And for them to increase it, they decided to bring in lexicons, sliding scale. That is what they brought into the terrain. Of course, that is an internationally accepted method. However,
lexicons is an
however, please. I thought I listened to you. Yeah, my
Senyo, please go ahead.
Nobody is
stop.
Senyo, please go ahead.
So for me, I think that this whole lithium deal is a good thing to create jobs. However, let's be guided as young people.
Okay.
My brother sitting here, I don't expect him to come and be doing the usual politics. Time and time, we've not seen anything useful from them ever since they came to power. Nothing useful. You talk about it, they will tell you dollar is down. You talk about it, they'll tell you fuel is down. As it stands today, I don't know if the fuel is still down. You talk about it, they'll tell you,
sure?
They'll tell you inflation is down. But your bottom is so. It's yes, Romo. Lithium deal with dear. A year, Bansam and Ketenkete Ewohu. They need to go back to the drawing board. Already they've rectified. They use their numbers always to be, bullying us in parliament. But regardless of bullying us, we will always make cogent argument. We will always make very, very meaningful points that Ghanaians will find sense in. And over the few months they've been in office, we have proven beyond reasonable doubt that we are not just mighty minority. We state our position very clear, and Ghanaians believe that indeed they have exchanged their white color TV to go and buy what? That is the kind of government we have today.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are still here. This is News Flash segment right here on Prime Morning. And I'm here with Selom, Senyo, and Julius, and we are talking on government's agreement with Barari DV Ghana in relation to lithium mining in Mankasim. So I want you to share your thoughts with us on our social media platforms. Facebook, it is Joy Prime TV. Our WhatsApp number is 055-157-5757. Now, Julius, I want us to come to the sliding scale. Earlier, you were talking about it, but I believe that for the purpose of proper understanding, most especially, for our viewers also, what are some of the things? I know that, yes, the reason for the introduction of a sliding scale is to help cushion, the rates at the end of the day. That's what I was trying to say earlier when Senyo was making his submission. But then really, introduction of the sliding scale, what are we looking at in relation to this lithium agreement?
You see, if you would observe, for the more than 15 minutes that Senyo spoke, apart from reckless grandiosity, the likes of which would make him elevate the New Patriotic Party, the party that destroyed the lives of people in this country. Remember Kama, the leader of Kama Group, who died because Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo seized his savings in the name of DDEP. The New Patriotic Party, who borrowed compared to any administration ever in the history of this country, from Nkrumah to John Dramani Mahama, whom they took over from, but blamed everything but themselves for the distractions they've caused. He dared to commit blasphemy of the highest order. In some societies, he will be stoned immediately for the things he said, that we should elevate that New Patriotic Party to God and worship in this Ghana.
Okay, so
that blasphemy should not be tolerated. So you see
so Anthony, I want to draw your attention to something. So you see, when you started, you saying all of the, you see the way Senyo is quiet.
You would realize that I was quiet throughout until he was committing blasphemy, and I was drawing his attention that blasphemy should not be accepted.
So there was no interruption whatsoever. I want it to be the same.
There was no interruption until he was committing blasphemy. Okay. I owed it to him as a brother to draw his attention that blasphemy of that order should not be committed. I owe it to him. So I was just doing Senyo a favor, actually.
You're not doing
I was doing you a favor.
That's not a favor.
So he should be cautious about how he would want us to elevate that New Patriotic Party to a God and worship in this country. He should be very cautious. You would see that in his 15 minutes of submission, aside personal attacks on the person of Sami Jemfi and Professor Jampo, he has been unable to say anything that derogates from the viability of the deal itself.
No, but
zero. Please, Senyo.
No.
Senyo.
You are equally interjecting.
That's why. Go ahead.
You. If you say that zero, I think that is out of context.
Are you done? All right, let's go on. He has been unable to say anything that derogates from the viability of the contract on the issue of the sliding scale. It just makes sense, for a natural resource-rich country to ensure that in entering agreements with investors, the capitalists who control the resources to be able to explore, including the know-how to explore these resources,
would gain.
You put clauses that would ensure that when those corporations are making windfalls, you, the owner of the resource, is a beneficiary of those windfalls. Because if you go and lock in an agreement at 10%, by reason only of the fact that at the time you are entering the agreement, the prices were at a certain level. And then in the subsequent year, the prices shoot up. you don't get any benefit from that.
Okay.
But if you introduce a sliding scale that puts the relevance ranges, that when the price ranges from this particular amount to this particular amount, this is the percentage in royalties that are supposed to be paid, you set yourself up to be able to take advantage of the rising, price in the sale of that commodity. It is why the sliding scale makes more sense. He was saying that Mr. Sami Gyamfi should be reduced to the sort of ridicule he was attempting to, because he says that the 10% at the time was not favorable. Senyo, let's bring some patriotism to the discourse. Does it not make sense that when we are trading our natural resources, our godly endowed resources, we put in mechanisms to ensure that at any point in time when the prices of those commodities go higher, we get the highest benefit.
Okay.
And so if someone makes a proposition that the sort of arrangement you should make should be one that ensures that you don't lock yourself, so that when there are gains in that sector, you lose all those gains. You are saying that is rather mediocrity. You want those people should be attacked this morning? Is that the proposal you are making?
But that is what you
that we should accept.
Is that what I said?
We should accept a situation.
Is the one calling for mediocrity. He's calling for that.
Yes, locking us in this mediocrity. Locking us in mediocrity. Giving us an opportunity to be able to take advantage of windfall works best for the people of Ghana, and that is what we are doing. Aside attacking people, they have absolutely nothing to say. And you see, the changes we introduce, for example, the 1%, sustainability levy, growth and sustainability levy, which they entered in as a stability clause of a sort in that agreement, which we came in to change, serves Ghanaians better. We introduced those changes with the objective. If you observe my presentation from the start, I said the objective is to ensure that the Ghanaian people get the highest possible gains from the natural resources that we have. If you go and enter a stabilization clauses, anybody who has basic knowledge in natural resource governance knows that stabilization clauses serve to benefit the investors more than it benefits the host country 90% of the time.
Okay.
And so if you enter clauses that say 1% all the time, when you lock us, it means that they are no longer subject to our fiscal regime.
Okay.
So when we pass new laws that will introduce increments in growth and sustainability levy, they will not be subject to it.
Okay.
That is what you were entering into. We introduced that new element to the agreement. If you listen to the NPP on the floor of Parliament, they will tell you, what they usually tell you is that the agreement fundamentally has not changed. I can agree with them to a large extent. 13%, the MIF equity holdings, all of those things are still in the agreement. But the things that ensure that you get the highest benefits are to eliminate things like the stabilization clause that gives advantage to the foreign investors. Is to eliminate the situations where when there is windfall, we don't get any better. We have introduced all of those things into the agreement, varying what it is that they did. So if they actually believed in the genuineness of the agreement they have entered into, then if we supplement it with things that any objective analyst will tell you increases the chances that the Ghanaian people are going to get the highest benefit from our natural resources, they should gladly support it. The only reason they are not supporting it is political. And we know this. Anyone who has followed parliamentary proceedings in this country would see that the NPP's only reason for not supporting this lithium agreement today is political. They want to score political points. They want to make political statements. They want to make symbolic
that's okay, but
signals. They want to make symbolic signals to their followers that they are not just in Parliament agreeing with President Mahama.
Let's focus
It's not because they have anything
on educating
on the substance. It's not. So the sliding scale benefits are. It's not because they have anything against the substance. If you listen to Senyo's presentation, he went on to describe the sliding scale as semantics and grammar. Then in the next breath, he says that it's a globally accepted standard. You know why? He can't consistently say that without looking, excuse my language, preposterous to the Ghanaian people. He can't maintain it without looking preposterous. He must immediately pivot from describing sliding scale in a natural resource governance agreement as pure semantics and grammar. He must immediately pivot to accepting that it's a globally accepted standard, because you cannot maintain an argument against it without looking preposterous and ridiculous. That is why they are not able to speak to the content. That is why they are sticking to the politics. That is why he will come this morning. The entire conversation has been reduced to Professor Jampo this, Sami Jemfi this. He's not speaking to the substantial issues because it is the only way they can go around this issue. Political gestures, political commentaries. They cannot attack the substance of the thing without even themselves looking inconsistent. Because if you say the agreement is in substance,
in his own right, you were in opposition some years ago, and you spoke against it, most especially in relation to the royalties that he was talking about.
Yes.
And so in his own right, he's only highlighting the fact that you were in opposition.
That would have been the case if the present agreement was not serving the objectives that our natural resource governance is supposed to serve.
Okay.
The objectives of our natural resource governance at all times must ensure that Ghanaian people get the highest benefits as far as possible. And we maintain control and sovereignty over it. Stabilization clauses take away your sovereignty. So if I tell you that growth and sustainability level being locked in at 1%, is taking the sovereignty of the people of the Republic of Ghana. Because when members of parliament go to parliament and they pass laws, including fiscal legislation, it's an exercise of the sovereignty of the state as to what people must contribute to the running of this country. That must affect foreign corporations as well. So if you enter stabilization clauses that lock in at 1%, what do you call it, growth and stabilization levy, and you lock in at 1%, which is a stabilization clause that favors foreign investors, and another government comes in and says, no, it will be subject to the applicable laws. What that government is doing is to ensure that, one, we retain our sovereignty and control over our fiscal laws. That enhances the deal. So if you are saying that the deal is substantially the same as what you did, but we can point to you these differences, these variances, that enhances our control over our own fiscal space, control of our sovereignty, then you should support it. That is the point I am making. Okay. That if it is substantially what you did, but I am pointing to these new differences that enhance our control over our natural resources, you should support it. When you bring in sliding scale to determine the royalties you get, depending on the ranges of increases in the prices of the commodity, and we are looking at a situation where potentially the price of the commodity involved could increase, then it would give us a chance at some point to get 12%. It gives the Ghanaian people the highest benefits as much as possible. You must support it.
What is the probability of the global pricing going down and its affecting royalties?
Well, we don't have direct control over that.
Okay.
It is the reason why you must set in the mechanisms to ensure that when those other elements that are not within your control come at play, you get the highest benefit.
Okay.
It is why you must put in that, because if you're looking at 10%, okay, and the price shoots up, you are locked. You are there. Foreign corporations take all of it. Because what royalties does is to ensure that you are able to get a bigger chunk of the gains before even profit is determined. And so if you have the possibility of getting 12% when the prices go up, why wouldn't you take it? Anybody who has an understanding of natural resource governance would support this, especially when you are insisting that the agreement is largely the same as what you did. But we are pointing to the variances that increases the Ghanaian stake in the whole affair. You should support it. And I am telling you that nobody would be able to maintain an argument against this. Aside the political gesticulations, the name calling and all of those things, they cannot maintain any real argument against the agreement itself in substance without sounding preposterous.
Okay. Salom.
Yeah. The last time I was here, I actually said something that got my brother a bit ruffled.
Okay. You mean Julius or
Julius? And I had to,
he was attacking all those who are.
We had to engage. We
aligned to politics.
And then we engaged in some.
And I didn't accept that.
We engaged in some,
okay.
What we call here banter. I am compelled in the light of what my brother Senyo said.
Okay.
To go back on that thing.
Okay.
You see, this is Ghana. And political parties are there to, to capture power and then use the power to, for the benefit of the people and sometimes for themselves. So this country, there is no legislation that says that we must all join political party. Because there are times where you see clearly that maybe such entities, it will be difficult for some individuals to join.
Okay.
There's a there's a wall of difference between politics and partisanship. But over here, we tend to be using, politics and partisanship interchangeably. You can take a political stance on something, okay? And that stand may be different from partisan stance. The partisan stance is a very narrow one, you see, which is what my brother Senyo has decided to engage in. He has engaged in extreme partisanship, which has led him to, to wage onslaught on certain personalities. And I was struggling to even find out, to really understand him, why that onslaught on those individuals. Because he said something, he quoted something Mr. Sami Jemfi said while in opposition, that 10%, giving 10% royalties to Ghana at that time was mediocre. Isn't that okay? So it was mediocre. Okay, so Sami Jemfi was actually speaking within a certain milieu, within a certain circumstances, prevailing circumstances. This government would have been taken to task if they had not heeded the suggestions by certain civil society organizations.
Minority just said that.
The same civil society organizations you are saying that you are hungry people. Today you are calling civil society hungry people.
The
civil society hungry people.
The gentleman in the helm today, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, is one who is not impervious to sound suggestions. So when Imani,
who is impervious?
Impervious to sound suggestions.
Yeah.
You mean to give an example of a leader who was impervious to sound suggestions? Yes. His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. He was impervious. He was not receptive to sound suggestions at all. And that's the qualitative difference I continue to stress whenever I have the opportunity. That because I owe it to myself and to this country to do that, because when I was campaigning for His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, I stressed on his qualities, you understand, as a listening person. You understand that he has leadership skills that are in tandem with the 21st century, and he's displaying that. And that is what is even reflecting in this agreement. The sliding scale mechanism will work for this country much more better than what used to be the case. You understand? So the government adopting this thing or heeding to this advice, it's something that we must laud. So I implore my brother to do, these submissions by lauding and crediting the current administration for listening to sound suggestions, because
so I can see you're writing so much, but we are actually pressed for time on this particular topic. We would have to move on to the next topic.
So too much time on but this should be a rebuttal. So 2-3 minutes. But give me like 5 minutes.
He said you equally had more than 5 minutes.
The rebuttal should not be too much. It should end. Let me just 2 minutes.
We are also balanced.
Salom
is now giving his take on this.
No. This is the second time he's speaking.
Okay.
Yeah. So just 2 minutes is okay. He's done.
What I'm saying to my brother is that
just be patriotic.
Yes.
Love your country.
Yes. Love. That's the party nyanti.
So you see. So
look,
these people.
Whenever.
Salom is an extension of NDC on this show today.
Please, whenever agreements of this nature is placed before you, what you do is that you immediately ignite sense of patriotism. And when you ignite sense of patriotism, what happens is that you look at the thing, you look at the agreement, you appraise it objectively. You see, when you have nothing to say, but because of partisanship, you want to say something necessarily, because if you don't say what something to the contrary or to contradict.
That's when it becomes synonymous to example.
Good. You see, if you have a sound policy being implemented by an intelligent, diligent leader, and that sound policy is before you, but because of partisanship, you want to contradict or find fault with that sound policy, what happens is that you now go into the realm of absurdity. You go into the realm of absurdity, and by engaging or towing the track, the path of that pathetic thing called name calling. You understand? Calling us hungry people. Do I? Hello.
Senyo.
Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah.
You did call
the suggestions we make.
Listen to what I said.
Hello.
I was very specific.
Anthony. Calling us hungry people. Look, the difference. I want you people to step back to watch what is happening today. Why His Excellency John Dramani Mahama is winning accolades from all and sundry. Look, just yesterday, I was at Tiptoe Lane. So I was in a shop and then, boom, the light out. And I said, hey, Ayezu.
And you said, what did you say?
Hey, Ayezu.
You said that to them?
I said that to them. I said, hey, Ayezu.
Are you NDC?
But light out. Somebody said light out and you say Ayezu. So when I said Ayezu, you know what happened?
What happened?
Then these young business guys, they say, hey, what this government is doing, because the mess this government has inherited, Master, don't say this, John Mahama or Yadiepa.
Oh,
yes,
really?
Yes, Circa Tiptoe Lane yesterday.
So when
I'm sure they are even.
Ayezu, they thought that what?
No, when I said Ayezu, but they wanted to, like somebody who wanted to ridicule the current leadership. But to my face, they told me that, hey, Master, men can't oka, because Abanwe, Juma Abanwe, you know, and ye a Juma Kitiwa. And I said, hey,
so Charlie, they even care about the light.
Good. So then I because when I said that thing, I wanted to actually, test their
mock the government.
Good, to see how they were going to react to that thing. And I said, no, then NPP is in a very, very, very big trouble.
There's no trouble.
You know why?
There's no trouble.
Yes, you will
There's
be.
No trouble.
No, you will be struggling. You will be struggling it off. Yeah. Look, today, let me tell you something. Just give me. This is a free advice to them.
I'll give you 2 minutes.
This is free. This is free.
We'll move on to our next topic.
Yeah. I am going to give this to you.
But then I hope.
I said, just 2 minutes.
Look.
You see. Please hold on. You see, when you hear my brother Salom, who sits here and talk in this manner, it tells you clearly his position. And I've said that on this show. I am being garnished by 2 NDC members on this show.
Come on.
He is an extension of an NDC communication.
But you are being garnished
last week.
However, he has been very hypocritical in the commentaries around the topic. Now, when I say that hunger-induced CSOs, I was very emphatic. I said, some hunger-induced CSOs, and I'm going to mention names, the likes of Professor Jampo, and the likes of you, Senyo. Please. Can you allow me to finish? When you were talking, I listened to you. Don't reserve the right to still talk. You reserve the right to talk
in the name of politics.
Professor Jampo.
Don't do things in the name of politics. What do you mean?
Who mounted a spirited debate? Who mounted a spirited debate? Please stop that.
No,
stop that. Respectfully, I kept quiet listening to you.
Say certain things in the name of politics.
Julius.
But he was the same person saying that.
What do you mean
as
that
young politicians, they should be circumspect on what to say? Because what
you think is a joke to attain leadership, then you are here.
So let me state again. Let me state on the show that my statement that some CSO were hunger-induced. Those are the lives of Professor Jampo, who is now the CEO of Shippers Company.
Of
again, the lives of Mensa Thompson. who were all
have the
against
temerity to be calling a
what is
professor,
this
a
rudeness?
professor,
What is this
When you-
rudeness?
a hunger
Can you
and
allow me?
person.
Can you allow me?
And you think it is
Can you
something that
allow
young
me?
people should be sitting
Okay.
at home
Because the
and be
truth-
learning from you?
So-
You think
You have
so?
adopted definitely.
So-
You think that is a
you will
sort
be
of
harrowing
decency
on this platform because you cannot
that is
use
the
this
sort of
platform
decency
to
that
be
should guide
patronizing and
political commentary
reducing
in
the
this
stature
country.
of individuals that people
What do you mean by that?
hold in
That
high
is the
esteem.
sort of
I
attitude
think
that is
I
supposed
think
to guide
I
It is not
think
the
that you would have
in this
to.
country.
You would have to retract.
And you are
You are
insisting
young
on
man.
that. You are
Describing
insisting on
the
that.
You would have to
professor
retract on
That
that.
I will maintain that this is a professor. Stop.
It is
stop
not
what you're
defeating
doing.
of a person.
This is a
who seems
professor
to be contributing
who
to national history.
vehemently
You should not be doing.
opposed.
If Professor Jampo is angry, then you are what?
Can you control?
But the fact that somebody,
When-
but the fact that the professor vehemently,
my
but the
friend
fact that
Julius.
the fact that the professor vehemently opposed what
Don't say
he
those
put out
things
to
you are
the
saying.
public,
No.
What do
and
you
the
mean
professor
anger?
vehemently opposed that thing.
What do you mean by that?
Nothing that
Today-
you say.
Julius.
My friend,
Julius.
that
He should recant. We should
guide your
recant
political
what he said.
commentary.
That the professor was
It should not
angry
guide your
at the time
political
he was
What do you mean
was
by that?
vehemently opposed. to some
When
of
we
the-
introduce when the
Julius
term
is Salon.
economic bill.
Advance your
You know,
He must recant that
too
thing.
many- too
I am
many
saying to
voices-
you that he should recant what he
won't.
said.
I won't.
That
Too many
Professor Jampo was angry.
I won't.
That Professor Jampo
won't.
was angry.
Gentlemen.
I won't.
Gentlemen.
When in
How?
2023,
He should-
the 10%,
He should do it.
when in 2023, the 10% was introduced, he called the then majority as childish. And today, when I'm saying that the likes of Professor Jampo and
Okay.
Johnson, Mensah,
All right,
who are
Senyo,
hunger
at this point-
induced, you sit here and tell me that was
Okay, let's move on to the next topic. Let's move on.
Another was not respected.
Let's.
You
No,
sit here and
Senyo,
Another was not
Senyo, your microphone is actually off.
Your president,
Gentlemen,
your leader,
Gentlemen.
your leader, who is a dead goat syndrome. Who is a dead goat syndrome? You sit here and say what?
Senyo, unfortunately, your microphone is even off.
But you didn't control. You didn't control them when they were.
What can you-
Yes.
When they interjected, you never allowed me to fly.
No.
The thing is
because
that
I
we
only
told
fly.
you
I
the
did.
platform
Insults.
I did.
And they were still talking. They were still talking.
Salon.
You have been doing
This
this.
one was ranted. This one was ranted.
doing us any
Attitude.
good.
I don't accept it. This
You
one
are
was
not doing
ranted.
us
attitude.
any good.
This one was
You are not doing us any
ranted.
good
This
because-
uncouth display
because-
they are doing. I don't accept it.
No.
This one
have
uncouth
to.
behavior. I don't accept it.
Senyo,
I
unfortunately,
listen
we'll have
to
to
all
move
of
on
you.
to the next
You
topic.
have an
okay?
opportunity
No,
on
let me
national
land.
We have
Let
to
me
move
land.
on.
1 minute. Let me land because they interjected me.
People.
1 minute. Let me land. They
So
interjected me.
if you're going to land,
Please, let's move to the
kindly
next topic.
To the next
desist.
topic.
We can't
Kindly
continue this.
desist
Where you come here and sit
from-
down and all you can do is to
Yeah, no,
insult
I agree with you.
people.
Don't worry.
From
I
the
get you.
name calling
Don't worry. I
and
get
the
something.
degrading.
So you see,
We will not
he
tolerate
sits
this
here and say that the minority is rejecting the proposal because they were politically induced. You see how hypocritically Julius is.
If I say something,
Oh, why-
okay.
why are you doing that? Why are you doing that?
You think that
If we don't take care, we
Please,
might
let's
not. We
move
have
to the
two
next-
more
Julius, why are you
topics
doing that?
to
So you
handle.
allow me
all
to
you
talk?
have to contribute.
Senyo, we
But
have
the
two
thing is
more
that-
topics to handle.
Let's move to the
He
next.
All right,
sits here and
so-
said that we were induced
So-
politically. Meanwhile, during their time, they were not induced politically. When you are hitting them.
Newsflash is brought to you by Franco Trading Enterprise. Steel. Fun papa fee.
Respectful of us.
This is still News Flash segment right here on Prime Morning. Moving on to the next topic. Now, Reuters reported 2 days ago that the U.S.-Israeli war against Iran poses a fresh threat to Ghana's inflation outlook through higher oil prices and tighter global financial conditions. So we are looking at the impact of the Middle East crisis on Ghana's economy. And so we are going to start off straight away with Julius. Yes, I was saying that Reuters a few days ago, on March 16, made a post and it states that the U.S.-Israeli war against Iran poses a fresh
You should even move to the
threat.
screen.
Salam, please.
I would be pleased. There is a certain claim recently people were making that because there is a war in the Middle East, the heart of global energy, which we can all see is causing the global market price of crude
Yes.
to increase,
Yes.
it means that when we argued that President Akufo-Addo, the NPP, and their extensions attempt to blame the abysmal failure, the unprecedented plunder of this country, the reckless mismanagement of this country, the borrowing without direction that caused inflation to rise at some point to 54% in this country. They abandoned it when the people of Ghana decided that enough was enough on December 7, 2020, that they should leave power. That's 2024, at 28%. That because this is happening today, it means that their claim that COVID and Russia and Ukraine war is the reason they destroyed this country is true. We are not going to allow a war in the Middle East led by the United States and Israel to be an excuse for the NPP to try to rewrite history. And so this morning, I'm going to take you through multiple factors that contributed to that distraction. And I will be showing you why, despite the war in the Middle East today, inflation is single digits, not just single digits, below 4%, 3.8, almost similar to the 38% they got. I will show you why, despite that war, we are not having crisis here today. To remind them that they destroyed this country because of the unprecedented borrowing. If you check the history of this country, when it comes to Eurobond, for example, Ghana in total, since we started going to the Eurobond market in 2007 under President Kufuor, borrowed 15.5 billion. Out of that total of 15.5 billion, guess the components of it which President Akufo-Addo alone borrowed. 11 billion out of 15.5 from 2007. Then only you, the total is 15.5. You borrowed 11 billion. Their reckless borrowing was what caused this country to collapse, not COVID and Russia and Ukraine, and we insist upon it. Now today they are saying that because crude price increased and there's a slight increment in fuel prices at the pump, it means that they were right in blaming Russia and Ukraine war and COVID for the distraction they caused. What is the price of fuel at the pump today? We all use Star Oil now, don't we? And Goel. They are the leading, companies in the market. If you go to the pump today, you'll get it at a little above 12 Ghana cedis, right?
Yeah.
What was the price of fuel when they were leaving power? Close to 15 cedis. That's what they left it. But do you know what was the price of crude at the time they were leaving power? They were leaving power at a time where the price of crude on the global market was around $72 per barrel. Now, if you are doing $72 per barrel and the price of fuel at the pump is 14.5, almost 15 Ghana cedis, and in the face of a war in the Middle East today, the hub of crude, we are doing 12 Ghana cedis, and the price of crude today is over $100. What is it telling you? It means that there is a different factor at play that is making the price less today. If the price of crude today is over $100 per barrel, are you listening? And at the pump, we are buying at 12 Ghana cedis, a little above 12 Ghana cedis. The price of crude, at the time you claim you were blaming Russia and Ukraine war, was $76 per barrel, but we were doing almost 15 Ghana cedis. How would you be able to blame Russia and Ukraine war and COVID as the cause of that? Do you know what is the other contributor to the price of fuel at the pump? When you want to determine the price of fuel at the pump, you must invariably look at the exchange rate.
Okay.
You must look at the exchange rate. You must look at the global market price of crude. You must look at your own fiscal regime because there are certain taxes you place on the fuel. And then you must look at the regulator, NPA, where it says the price floor. Those factors determine the price of fuel at the pump. So when we were saying that we went through crisis because you destroyed the economy, you could not manage the exchange rate. It was true, and it is true today. Why is it that today there is a war in the Middle East, but we are not buying at 15 cedis? It is over $100 per barrel today. Why are we not buying at the 15 cedis we were buying? It is because the exchange rate today is lower. 10.7 or less? It's because it is lower. So when you come and you attempt to play revisionist politics, let me tell you, the NPP has been laboring under a certain misguided illusion that the people they speak to, that the Ghanaian public is made up of fools. We are not. And we will continue to remind you of that. Then they claim that President Mahama said global events have no impact
Anthony, you have a minute more to
on
go,
Ghana.
so-
Don't worry, it's enough. Global events have no impact on Ghana. And so he was lying and all of those things they were trying to say. This President Mahama, you know the owner of Asasi Radio. Asasi Radio is owned by Gabi Asari Ochodako, right? A known affiliate of a New Patriotic Party. 4 years ago, this is their report on what President Mahama said about COVID and Russia and Ukraine, which has been the consistent position of the NDC. That the effect generally has been felt by Africa, but Ghana was an exceptional case. And our exceptional case was the unprecedented borrowing and reckless spending of the New Patriotic Party, printing monies at BOG as if they don't have head. Imani did a thorough research throughout Africa on the impact of COVID. In fact, all of us who are reasonable observers of political discourse will see that the whole of West Africa was doing single-digit inflation when we were doing 54%. Sure. Togo, Burkina Faso, Guinea, all of them were doing single-digit inflation when we were doing 54%. COVID didn't go there. You were saying that supply chains were disrupted. That is why Ghana was suffering. Why? Ghana gets its supply from where? Pluto, when Togo and the others get it from Uranus. Is that what you are saying? Ghana gets it from Pluto, when Togo and the others get it from Uranus? Is that what you are telling us? So don't try to play revisionist politics because of a war in the Middle East. And you see, any attempt to compare a war in the Middle East to Russian-Ukraine war would not only be preposterous, it would be unreasonable, and if you would permit me, it would be insane. Because you cannot see attacks on the global energy hub and be comparing it to Russian-Ukraine war because there is a single sanction on Russia by Western allies.
Okay.
You can't be making that. And if you look at the prices at the pump today, the claim you are making, does it even make sense to you? That you are saying that you sold fuel at the pump at 15 Ghana cedis because the price was at $76 per barrel. Someone is selling at the pump at 12 Ghana cedis, while the price is at, $106 per barrel today because of the war. The war is happening. The war is happening, but our prices are still lower than yours. And you are using that war to try and revise history. Does it even make sense that you are attempting to do that?
Okay, Anthony, I'll come back to you on this.
Does it make sense that the NPP is attempting to do that?
Okay. I'll come back to you on this. Don't worry.
So the revisionist politics there, we will not allow you. We will remind you that you destroyed this country because of Oforiatta's reckless borrowing. Because of that reckless borrowing, he is hiding in ICE cells. Oforiatta prefers to be in ICE cells, which is literally a cage, than to be in Ghana where he would have been a free man. Why? It was because he destroyed this country and could not stand it.
Salam.
Thank you very much, Hajia Sidwa, for the opportunity to go into this Israel-US-Iran war and its impact on the economy of Ghana. Okay, you know, we can only compare two or more things. You cannot hold one thing like this and be doing comparison. That one, they will begin to question your sense of your sanity will be questioned. So we'll do comparison, or comparative analysis, to see whether this country have some competent people now in the who are managing the affairs of this country. Ezidua, I was one of the individuals who rejected the NPP's, the Akufo-Addo regime's suggesting that the COVID-19 Russian-Ukraine war was what actually battered the economy of Ghana. I rejected it, and some of your colleagues those days will ask, Abba, what are you saying? Because no country is an island. And I say yes. And I use one thing to drum home my point, that, you know, HIV is. We know how HIV is transmitted. One of the means we know that it is through sexual intercourse. Okay, but not everybody who contracted or who contracted HIV got it through sexual intercourse. True. Good. So it may be true that indeed the global economy had gone through some struggle when COVID reared its ugly head, and then the Russian-Ukraine war, and then some countries actually, it impacted negatively on some economics. But Ghana's economy was not battered because or as a result of the Russian-Ukraine war. Our ailment or malady, the malady we had, was not the cause of Russian-Ukraine war. Our malady was self-inflicted because those in the helm at the time, they had unfettered insatiable appetite for borrowing. Not borrowing to develop this country, but to develop their own, to put money in their own pockets. Example is Ken Ofori-Atta, who is languishing in ICE facility. He is the example. If NPP today wants to rebut or repudiate the arguments that indeed Russian-Ukraine war had no negative impact on the economy of Ghana, but what actually battered and destroyed our economy was the gentleman in whose hand our economy was placed, Mr. Ken Ofori-Atta. He was worse than COVID-19 and worse than the Russian-Ukraine war. You know, when they decided to go for the IMF facility, I had opportunity to suggest to them that Ghana didn't need IMF bailout. What we needed was the gentleman to be relieved of his position or sacked, because that would have been a potent antidote to our economic crisis. Because what Ghana needed at the time was just...
At what point was this?
This was under the kleptocratic regime of Akufo-Addo.
At what point in that?
When they were strenuously making the argument that Russian-Ukraine war was contributed to the woes of our economy.
Okay.
And we said, no, it cannot be, because the gentleman who was managing, who was grossly mismanaging the economy of this country was actually the bane of our economy, Ken Ofori-Atta. And where he is today, it buttresses the arguments that we put forth. That indeed, Ken Ofori-Atta was worse. He was worse than Russian-Ukraine war.
Okay.
He was worse than COVID-19 because, you look, he took decisions that militated against our economic well-being. He took decisions that, made some people leave the surface of this earth today. And some of those people, you interviewed them on your network here, multimedia. You interview some of them. So I am not going to be. It will be dishonest of me to say that what is happening at the U.S.-Iran-Israel war will have no negative impact on the economy of Ghana, because what we have succeeded in doing as a society is that we have become interdependent and interconnected.
Yes.
Countries have stopped building walls. What we are doing now is building webs. So we are interconnected. Okay. So, but you know why? The reason this thing is not even impacting on us negatively, or we are not feeling it as we would have felt if the country was still in the hand of Ken Ofori-Atta, is that we have diligent, intelligent, patriotic citizens or souls of this country who are managing this economy. Okay. That is why the impact is not being felt as we would have felt under Akufo-Addo and Ken Ofori-Atta.
Okay. All right.
Ken Ofori-Atta, look, let me use this opportunity because Senyo is here. The NPP.
They should bring Ken back.
They should join us, Arise Ghana, to bring Ken Ofori-Atta back to this country.
NPP should join you?
Yes.
Okay.
Because if the NPP summons up the courage to join us to make the call on Ken Ofori-Atta to come back to this country, it will redound to their credit. Then what will happen is that Ghanaians will begin to see them as people who have changed, who are now wearing patriotic hats. But if the NPP continues to ignore the call on Kenneth Oriata, the call for Kenneth Oriata to be extradited, repatriated, or deported to this country to answer for the decisions he took, the decisions that militated against our economic well-being, the greedy, selfish decisions that he took.
Anyola.
We want him to come back to this country, and Arise Ghana is calling on their standard bearer, Alhaji
Mahmoud
Baumia, to join us.
Senyo should come in on it. But you know, Selam, is some members of the minority, what they are saying in relation to the fact that NDC's possible excuse for the fuel pricing at the moment is the Middle East crisis and If the fuel pricing was about 11 cedis and then, before I realized it's moved to 12 cedis and something, does it not validate their concern about there being possible, possibly...
You are not getting it.
When they left,
there's a distinction between the Russian-Ukraine war and the Israel-Iran US war.
Right.
The difference is that where that war is taking place, unfortunately, that is the hub
of global
energy.
And
that is the provenance of crude.
In any case, I said, how much was crude in 2024, December, when they were still blaming Russia-Ukraine war and COVID? $76 per barrel.
Gross mismanagement we experience
at $76 per barrel. We were selling
what is
please come in on this. We have to go to Kalkudi to, so Senyo. Yes, you've done very well.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so please talk.
First of all, I would want to ask my two brothers, and for Selom being very hypocritical on this show,
always
time and time. What I want to ask,
do your best to just hit them right on the head for me, okay?
Them is that the Russia-Ukraine war, I want to ask of them, did it have any effect globally on prices from 2022 as at that time when prices were surging? I want to ask them, did the Russia-Ukraine war have any effect on global prices?
Yes, but it is not what collapsed Ghana's economy.
It's okay. Because
it's okay. There's a difference between it has an effect and it is what collapsed the economy.
Yes. Why are they doing this?
When you asked us a question,
you said yes, it's enough.
Anthony,
you asked us a question. There's a difference between it has an effect and it is what collapsed the economy.
There's your response.
Please finish up your submission.
Thank you. I'm happy that
that you say we should say yes and we'll say.
So you see, I'm glad they have agreed that.
Yes, but it did not collapse the economy.
Our economy was already on its knees. It was already on its knees.
You see, one thing I know is that when you are actually speaking the truth, you will not be given a chance to air what is true. So what I want to say is that I'm happy that they have both agreed that indeed it affected prices. So what it means is that Ghana, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, he has no control over the global prices. That must be established. Fast forward.
But he asked over what happens at the pump. That is why he has control over the CD. And the CD is affecting how the fuel is being sold at the pump today. That is why at $73 per barrel, you were selling at 15 CDs. At 106, he's selling at 12 CDs.
You have anything to say.
You have, but
Senyo is just going to wax lyrical.
If he doesn't have anything to say, he's here for a reason.
Okay, they know I will definitely speak the truth, so they have to come at me. So, at some point in 2022, crude prices went as far as $120 per barrel. That is the highest it went at some point. Now, what are we seeing today? My brother is doing some jandam arithmetics. That today we have good prices by the OMCs that we are seeing. But what he is failing to understand is that NPA, as at 5th March, has informed us that we have at least 5.3 weeks of petrol and 7 weeks plus, I think that's 7.8 weeks of diesel reserve. So at this time, he will not understand the nitty-gritty of what is looming at the global prices. Because there have been some projections already that in the coming days, if the war continues, we should expect over $200 per barrel. And I will be very glad to be on the same show with my brothers to see what they will say. However, they must understand that we need to give time, some time, because time will tell and will expose every single thing they have said. When we get to that place,
you are pointing
that one thing, please, I respected you, Anthony.
That's what I'm not telling you.
This disrespect.
I'm not saying.
No, but you are interjecting me, entering into my conversation.
I'm not saying anything.
No, but listeners cannot hear what I'm saying.
No, how does this actually
nobody has prevented you.
So, Esedua.
I was actually paying attention to you.
Nobody has prevented you from speaking.
Are you saying we cannot have conversation?
So what we need to understand is that these two gentlemen who wants to be a stumbling block on my path this morning, I will not withdraw. I'm going to actually do my presentation.
Okay.
And in doing the presentation, I am going to put the two gentlemen in the witness box. In the witness box.
Okay.
We have the first witness presenting Exhibit 1.
Okay.
And that is Salom Dramado presenting Exhibit 1.
Okay.
In Exhibit 1, we have on myjoyonline.com. It is a bloody lie to blame COVID and Russia-Ukraine war for economic crisis.
But it's true. That's a lie.
Reinforcing what we say.
What is this? Allow me to.
No, but because
stop this.
Leading on to something.
You stop this.
Time is very expensive. Time is very expensive.
No,
don't worry. Let's
finish. This was said by the president at the time he was in opposition. Fast forward.
It's correct.
Otek Ghana also recorded that. Your camera can zoom it proper. So that, yes, Otek Ghana. Now, fast forward. I am happy that he presented a document over here by saying that the president actually said that the Russia-Ukraine war will have an impact on African economy.
Yes, 5 years
But
ago.
what he fails to understand is that the same president in 2024 who said that it is a bloody lie.
Yes, that is what collapsed
please. The same president who said it is a bloody lie. He has made a U-turn.
They are the same.
He has made a U-turn.
Anthony.
He has made a U-turn. He has made a U-turn. I said, Mahama makes U-turn. Admit COVID-19 and Russian-Ukraine war responsible for economic crisis.
Someone's headline. Any media can choose to give whatever.
This is Ghana West.
Is that the president's quote?
Now,
quote the president.
The president again went to meet the U.S. branch of executive of the NDC.
Yeah.
And he repeated the same statement again. This is a president who has two mouths. He says this here today, he says that here today. So I agree that indeed we must believe President Mahama because he has told us that time and time we need to cajole the voters when we want votes. When they were desperate for power, when they needed power, riding on political baloney, they needed to convince the voters that this is the issue. But today, we are now being told by the likes of Sami Jeffy at the time, who told us that the economy was already limping before Russia-Ukraine war crisis.
But it's true.
But it's true. Today,
old men know it on their dying beds. Children know it in
when I'm done, you will still talk. When I'm done, you still talk. Again, we have the likes of we have the likes of the majority leader today, Mahama Yariga. This story is from my job online. Mahama Yariga, who said what? Yariga mocks NPP for benefiting more than Russia from Ukraine war excuses.
But it's
now, what it means is that
54% inflation.
We must understand one thing, that nobody, and I mean nobody, not even the president, talk of even he, Julius, sitting here, he is even a microcosm of the government. He has no locus He can talk big grammar sitting here. But he's just a microcosm of the government who has no
it's always
decision,
about individuals.
who has no decision,
are we here to discuss
who has no locus in making decisions as far as price control or price stabilization.
We are here to discuss.
Okay.
We can make all the rants when we were in opposition. But today, it is throwing at them.
Not discussing
they cannot accept the heat.
So confused.
And they are now shaking, the two of them. They think that I will be that person who want to mellow for that week.
What a very
to run it up. It is very sacrosanct that when we are in opposition, when issues of global crisis are rising, we must understand that no economy has control over global prices. That is the life of cocoa.
So you give the final submission,
so that we can.
And then they give final submission.
No, when I'm done, they can give. I'll give my one.
You want to host the
likes of cocoa.
You are so confused.
The likes of cocoa. The likes of crude oil. What it means is that we don't have control. You can rant your mouth, in opposition, and say that I'll give 6,000. I'll do this, but when reality dawns on you and you are in the hot seat, you will demonstrate your incompetence and your atophonomic magic that you do not even know. And we are seeing it today. So my brother is to understand that
he's just
he should.
He's so confused.
Yeah.
Okay.
He just wants to see
this your game.
You can have the opportunity to make your final submission.
Okay, I'll have the opportunity to make my final
submission. Salom, please give your final submission and then we go, because we have to go to Kalkudi for the national prayer.
Hadia, now go there. Look, I still maintain that Ghana's economy was on its knees before the Russian-Ukraine war. Ghana's economic woes at the time.
Is this your final submission?
Yes, I'm wrapping up.
Because everybody has a minute.
Thank you.
Okay.
So Ghana's economy at the time had, like, the economy was completely battered by Ken Ofori-Atta, who is languishing in ICE detention.
Is that your worry?
It's my worry because it's a disgrace. It's a national disgrace that we have our former finance minister,
go and bring him,
who is languishing in ICE detention.
We'll make sure you don't see anything. So don't.
It is true that no country is insulated from the ravages of the war in Iran and Israel and the US. No country is insulated. No country is immune from the impacts of the war. It will be hypocritical of me, or I will be literally a journalist face to sit here to say that Ghana's economy will not be impacted by what is happening there. But I have hope. The hope I have is that we now have people who are patriotic. That is the difference.
Okay.
People who are patriotic, intelligent, and diligent, managing this economy.
Okay.
That is what gives me hope that even if the war there will impact this economy, it will not impact it as it would have been if it was in the country was in the hands of Ken Ofori-Atta and Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo.
Okay.
Akpebe Ghana mi monu popo kie be mi gava Joy Prime. Anya ko gbomile yebe economy kie gbomile.
The time is up, my brother.
Economy ye gbomile.
I have important things to
say. Nebe Nana Addo, allo Russia, US, Iran, Israel vake jojomi. Ala cover du kokiem. Ala be enu la tasese. Gake nu ye gbomile yebe de. Nana Addo enuka
1 minute is up.
John Mahama play at two first na all economy manage ale gbegbe all aja gbagbabe engomedo premium.
All right.
Akpe bagado gbona di domo to kata
akpe to you too.
Senyo Amekplenu.
Okay.
NPP vie.
Julius.
I would sum up by wrapping the fundamental points I made together. Point number one is that we will not allow any attempt to revise history, to re-narrate the realities that Ghanaians lived under President Akufo-Addo and Ken Ofori-Atta, Kumbaomia's economic management in this country. The reasons are simple. When we say that COVID-19 and Russia-Ukraine war is not responsible for the economic disruption, the quagmire In fact, the death that some Ghanaians suffered because of the mismanagement of President Kufuor and what you call a Ken Ofori-Atta and Bawumia, it is a fact. That fact is not the same as global events do not have impact in Ghana. We are saying that COVID-19 and Russia-Ukraine war have their general impacts on all countries over the world. But Ghana was not destroyed because of that.
Sure.
And the reason lies in the evidence I am going to present to you. Throughout the time that they were telling you that COVID and Russia-Ukraine war is what destroyed Ghana's economy, the whole of West Africa was doing single-digit inflation. Do you know the inflation Ghana was doing? 54%. Do you know what accounts for that kind of inflation? It is when you engage in reckless borrowing that locks you out of the international market. You do not have the needed buffers at your central bank. And when you are locked out of borrowing, you don't have reserves. The lack of reserves leads to a situation where you cannot manage your exchange rate. Your inability to manage your exchange rate leads to inflation in your country. That is why we were seeing that in Ghana. Togo was not suffering that. When they refer to COVID-19 and Russia and Ukraine, they say that it disrupted supply chains. That's what they say about COVID. I am asking, was Ghana getting its supplies from Pluto? Togo, Cote d'Ivoire, all the other countries were getting it from Uranus. I am asking that question. The question is fundamentally no. Then the last thing I would want to say, in 2024, even in the lead up to the election, they were insisting that Russia-Ukraine war and COVID is the reason why fuel prices rose to the extent that they did. I am saying that it is not. And any attempt to use the opportunity of the war in Israel, Iran, to revise history will not work. The reason is simple. When you want to deal with fuel prices, for example, I will revise that so that the point lands well. Multiple factors contribute. Factor number one is the global crude price. That will determine it. Factor number two is the exchange rate. Factor number three is fiscal policy, because you may put taxes on the fuel yourself. Then factor number four is your regulator, NPA, how it sets its price floors. Okay. When you look at all these factors, in the case of Ghana, why is it that in 2024, December 2024, global crude price was around $72 per barrel? But you were selling at 14.5, even 15 Ghana cedis. Today, there is a war. You are saying that we are blaming the war. We are not. We are not blaming the war. We are just saying that it has an impact. We are not blaming it for any economic quagmire, because the economy is not in any quagmire. Every Ghanaian can see that inflation is at 3.8. Okay, every Ghanaian can see that the fall. Relax. Let me wrap up. Let me wrap up. Please, let me wrap up. Let me wrap up. Today, okay, the war is happening. But fuel at the pump is what? 12.5. Help me, Senyo. How much is it? 12.5. You were doing 14.
It's more than 12.5.
Whatever it is within the range of 12, right? That is fine. Even if you say 12, even if you say 12.9, I'm fine with it. So even if you say 12.9, I'm fine with it. We are doing that at a time where the crude price per barrel is $106 per barrel. The reason why it is like that, it is still lower than what they were doing when it was $72 per barrel. The reason is because of the exchange rate. And you know why the exchange rate is important? He is speaking for a presidential candidate of the New Patriotic Party who is seeking election to come back to government, who at some point in time told us in Ghana that the most important macroeconomic indicator, he didn't say that it is an important determinant. He said the most important is the exchange rate. And we are seeing it play today. They could not manage it. Exchange rate was ranging all the way to 17 Ghana cedis under you. That is why we saw what we saw. Don't try to revise history. You failed. Accept it. You failed.
Anthony,
Senyo, you failed.
Anthony, you've abused the time I gave you.
Thank you very much. Senyo,
thank you very much, Asiedua. You see, it is very preposterous when you have reckless, arrogant bunch of braggarts who want to tell us that they know the economy.
Name calling.
Who want to tell us that they have control over the tenants of this economy. We will be seeing the indicators, and we are seeing the global prices looming. And instead of them to quail, they are exhibiting their arrogance. And we are seeing a similar thing, which is trying to, at some point, induce my younger brother. And I think that I will resist the attempt by calling for the Almighty Sobolisa to, take off that arrogance posture from him, because Ghanaians have seen the worst that they promised the people. We were told by the current energy minister at the time, when he was a ranking member of the energy committee. What did he tell us? He told us that Ghana is a net exporter of oil. So when the Russia-Ukraine war, the Lula Balu is going on, we should benefit from the windfall. Today, Nanu I say.
He's selling fuel at a pump.
Please. Nanu why are you on the street to say, that's what the energy minister is doing. But what is very sacrosanct is that the NDC led by His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, they have time and time displayed that they are super incompetent. They claim that at the time we were mismanaging the economy. Today, I put it to them that if indeed they are really managing the economy very well, now that the price, as at yesterday, we are around $108 per barrel. I am praying to the Almighty Mauga Sobolisa that he should intervene in the crisis of other African countries. But what is again known is that at the time we were told by President John Dramani Mahama that Russia and Ukraine are 7,000 kilometers away. But today, we must know, and it must be established that Iran is 9,000 kilometers away from us and is just our neighbor. When the bomb hits them, boom, boom. In Ghana, it will be Monjame, Name Tomenyum. So we must not be disturbed. We must not be disturbed by any action going on in Ukraine and US Israel missiles that they are throwing at each other. Okay. We must be mute because Sami Jenfi has already set the tone that the bomb has not touched Kaswa. It has not touched any part of Ghana. As far as I know, my constituency, which is Anglo constituency, Keta constituency, or the constituency in the Volta region, his constituency, Central Tong, and his Ketu South, and the president constituency, Bole Bamboy, and Atofosi constituency, and the likes, bomb, and see Ghana here. Now Ghana, we are immune to any action of the war. We must, like the Togo, where people will see, Mosia, Minosiadi, Migatite Afiareko. Me got someone. Let me tell you. And one lad don't have a gomero.
It has entered.
Okay. All right. Senyo, thank you for your submission. Now let's hop on WhatsApp and let's read some messages. Good morning. On the lithium agreement, this is the truth. The NDC introduced the lithium agreements. The NDC introduced a lithium agreement, was presented twice to Parliament. One, the agreement in the same language and form the NPP presented to Parliament, and the NDC opposed in opposition. The only difference was the royalty percent they reduced to 5%. The NDC withdrew it when there was a huge backlash to the reduction. Two, this new agreement with a sliding rule was just a face saving after they were exposed in a create and loot scheme they wanted to do. The NPP and Senyo are right in exposing the double standards of NDC. Okay. Julius Anthony is Sami Jenfi in the making. I like his intelligence. Good morning. Oh, okay.
Good morning to you too.
Okay. We have the two NDC representatives are spoiling the program. Oh, really? That was very interesting. Okay, let me take this one. Good morning, Yasi Edouani from Cape Coast North. Now, I'm wondering what Senyo would say in the times to come if the economy is stable, regardless of the current global circumstances. This political talks and a position job is hard. Okay.
Is money a dream?
Next one, Mr. Dramani is saying that the NPP should join them, go bring Ken back to Ghana. I want to ask him that if he ask questions to, okay, if he's asked to ask Ken questions, can Ken go personally and ask his question? Ooh, I don't quite get what you're trying to say. Let us know that Ken has been charged of any crime. He should let us breathe. Okay, Nanaya, I wish you could reconstruct what you sent so that I could read it again. Okay, now moving on, John Dramani Mahama never suggested that global factors have no bearing on our economy. What he emphasized is that the core of our economic crisis was largely self-inflicted. No one should deliberately misquote the president to distort the clear position. The reality is that the new Patriotic Party, through willful mismanagement and reckless economic decisions, plunged this country into a crisis so severe that it invited eternal oversight IMF officials effectively policing the Bank of Ghana, and even foreign actors closely monitoring the Ministry of Finance, Ghana. Okay, Ghanaians remember the facts, and no amount of revisionism can erase that record. This is from Daniel Akpaleyok. Okay, let's see. It's funny how NPP communicated seats on national television and acts as if Ghanaians have short-term memory. We haven't forgotten. I will not forget anything they put us through. That man in Fugu should respect the Fugu stuff.
Which of the Fugu?
Okay.
Shall it's you. It's you they are talking to. So which of them man? That person should be very
so now you are not MPP man.
I'm MPP, but I said Fugu.
Oh no.
What are you saying? You said the MPP man in Fugu.
No, that Fugu
So now you are denying the party. You are ashamed of the MPP that you are denying it.
I won't deny my party.
You are so ashamed.
I won't deny my party. I won't deny my party.
Okay, so Julius will always
bring him on board.
Julius will always call President Nanado and his appointees name like he did this morning, but when they give him same dose of medicine, he can't stand it.
He's jittery.
He should stop that all-knowing attitude. Ooh, okay, all right. This is quite personal. Master planner. He did it last time when KMJ was hosting him. We should. Master planner. Okay, let's move on. Good morning. In as much as I enjoy your show, I must say I'm fairly disappointed. Oh, really? In your production team, today is supposed to be national holiday. Oh, I was hoping for some Islamic content. Do not worry, my darling. You're definitely going to get the Islamic content.
We'll do Islamic content.
KMJ is currently at the National Mosque, okay? KMJ is currently at the National Mosque in Kalkudi. So we're going to
bring Alhaji KMJ.
Alhaji KMJ, yes.
Yeah.
So do not worry at all. We are indeed celebrating with our Muslim brothers and sisters, but we also have to talk on national issues at the same time. So pardon us. You will get your, your
production team as part of the topics. They actually selected something to be.
Yeah.
About, unfortunately.
Okay. Okay, this one was asking me to control you guys. You guys have stressed me this morning. You can't be stressing me every time that you come on here. Eh?
I said we are done.
Yes, you are done.
We are done.
But I'm putting it to you that you people can't be stressing me.
When people want to attack me, policies are taking and implemented by this government.
Okay, good morning, host.
Your own ideas.
Why are you not reading our text messages? My darling, I'm reading them now. Okay, so let me read them. Good morning, Joy Prime. What's Bawumia coming back to do after helping Akufo-Addo to mess up the country through state capture, e-levy cakes, KK parties, ghost names, and reckless spending on luxury jets to watch football abroad? Ghanaians are wide awake and will not make another mistake to vote for a power-hungry group like NPP. After using several Bible quotations to preach about decent language on your show, Reverend Senyo is now using offensive words to attack prominent people like Professor Jumpo, whose shoes he cannot wear. Okay. We cannot be fooled by power-hungry politicians who use Bible verses to scum the people of Ghana. When did Senyo... Okay, when did Senyo realize the need to be measured in opposition? Were they able to change Ghana into Singapore or make Accra the cleanest city or provide jobs for all? They promised heaven, but gave us kinky parties, pension headaches, head cuts, ghost names, galamsey, and atrocities, etc. Would not be fooled by their Bible quotations, since Satan also did so to tempt God. Oh, okay. Well, let me just do this very last one, and we're done. Sami Bwachi Asamankese says, now it's clear, and President Mahama has admitted that their own party members are engaging in galamsey everywhere across the country, which clearly indicates that the government led by Mahama has failed the fight against galamsey activities willfully. Now everybody in this country has seen the family and friends governments grabbing property left, right, and center, who own... Who own mine currently? Okay. The question is, who benefits from the Ejapadia book?
The real Ejapadia
book. Your guess is as good as mine. Special greetings to my good friend Senyo. Someone will say Sakot, yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
Abdullah Saleh and Hajia Safia Mohammed.
On Tuesday,
okay.
I'll be
all right.
the real family and friends in this government on my Facebook wall at exactly 10 a.m.
Okay, Senyo,
so you're invited to come and watch.
Thank you very much, Senyo, for your time.
I greet Dr. Alhaji Mahmoud Bawumia, the incoming president of Ghana.
Senyo is a member of the on the communications team of the New Patriotic Party. Julius Anthony is the government spokesperson, and then Salam Dramani is a leading member of the Arise Ghana. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you for your time this morning. Thank you for being part of us celebrating the Eid right here on Prime Morning.